I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please listen for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Ms. Williams.
Thank you. Mr. Lyon.
Present.
Ms. Beck.
Here.
Mr. Kashani.
Here.
Dr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. DiTullio.
Here.
Dr. Mihalik.
Here.
Dr. Meyer.
Here.
Mr. Moy.
Here.
Ms. Swope.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and thank you all for joining us on short notice. We'll recognize visitors. If any visitors are on the line, press *6 to have your question, to state your questions. There are no visitors here with us. Seeing how there are none, we'll move to the only item on our agenda today, which is a motion 2.01 to approve the recommendation to extend school closure at least through May 1, 2020, and continue implementation of the continuity of education model already in place. Do I have a second?
Yes, this is Christine Misback. I second that motion.
Thank you, Christine. Dr. Miller, would you like to make any comments? You good?
No, I appreciate everybody being flexible like this. Not only this meeting and the way it's being implemented, but having the Monday meetings that were advertised. It's a huge step in agility and governance, and it's hugely appreciated. I know how busy everybody is, so thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Meyer, do you have anything to add?
I want to thank the senior leadership team for their foresight of how to handle the situation. I don't believe that the governor is going to allow schools to open after the 2 weeks. So I think this is a very smart move and very foresighted. So thank you for taking the lead.
Sure.
Dr. Mihalik.
Well, I just want to say, first of all, thanks for how everything has been deployed to date. I just want to say I get reports from people that I know in other districts and how much uncertainty and chaos is operating in other parts of the county because they haven't had the leadership that our administration and senior leadership team have demonstrated. And I think that this is exactly the sort of strong signal that a community needs to hear so that people can make plans in a more reasonable way with a greater degree of timing to smooth things out. And so I think this is a very wise move, and thank the administration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Ms. Swope.
Yes, I absolutely agree with the May 1st, and I am very concerned that this is not our first postponement. But I would need to say that this is a transition time for everybody. So we as educators, of course, our focus is to keep the education going, but everybody understands that the top priority for now is to take care of the families. So this is definitely an additional stress for the parents to jump into the role of the educators. So the one thing is for the school to be ready to continue the education, which Dr. Miller and his team did an excellent job. But I wouldn't stress the parents in this transition period too much to make the deadlines of the assignments and any kind of strict agenda, just so they know that the resources are there, that the staff is prepared. But I think for now is to make sure that the kids feel safe and that the families feel connected. and that they know that we are on top of it. But I wouldn't stress like the educational achievement for the parents. That's just my one comment.
Thank you. This is this is Brian speaking. So you will see in the weekly update you get today, and the building administrators emailed their staffs yesterday of anxiety that may exist in certain households or with certain students, and that is the top priority of us. Any week of significant transition. I mean, this past week has turned the paradigm of life on its head in relationship to school, but at the same time that that's happening, we've had, whether it's restaurants not being able to eat, you can't go to the gym, you can't go to church, people are losing jobs, people are working from home. The reality of this pandemic is that we are just at the cusp of the significance of change. And any week of transition, the first week takes a little bit of a psychological toll as people are grappling with what does this mean, how long will this be. So I think the extension of the closure period will let people psychologically understand that we can dig in and begin to work through this. We will be emphasizing the heart over the mind in some of our communications here in the transition, so that relationships, particularly with at-risk students, those needing more intensive support, that's our top priority, that we're creating a sense of normalcy. We believe strongly, Dr. Paxton, our lead psychologist, believes this as well, that as circumstances and restrictions and other things in life become even more, just the changes, you can't go anywhere. Maybe we envision a time people are in the home. School, for those who have school-age children, might be one of the absolute only areas that has a semblance of normalcy. And workplaces are changing. You can't even watch your favorite team play. You can't do anything that a lot of people do on a routine basis. So our team hears you, Mrs. Swope. This is front of mind for us. Reality is, with 4,600 families, you have all sorts of different feelings. You will read in my update today, we have some feedback mechanisms that we're already putting in place that we're going to be able to learn and refine what we're doing quickly in order to be better with parents. So for week one, we are super excited, and we think that we're going to learn a lot quickly and be able to get that back into the building so that we are just keep growing week to week.
Thank you so much. You're doing a really amazing job. Thank you for the leadership.
Sure.
Mr. Moy, would you like to make any comments?
Yeah, I'll just be brief. Completely agree with the closure till May 1st, and like all the board members have said, the administration has done an amazing job of being proactive and doing everything that they're doing, and I think the community is really appreciating it so far.
Thank you, Matt. Dr. Campbell.
Yes, I want to concur that I agree with the recommended closure. And in the past week, I've had board members from 2 neighboring school districts reach out to me and compliment me on how well we've been handling this transition and ask how they could do better. They're looking to us to learn, and we're the exemplar right now. So we're leading the way, and I thank Dr. Miller and his team and all the teachers for doing such an outstanding job making this transition quickly and really, setting a tone for the state, as to how education can continue when the schools close.
Thank you, Ben. Mr. DiTullio, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I also concur with the May 1st. I think that by pushing this back, this allows families to kind of settle in that this is the new norm for now. And I think what that'll allow is to get over this, for lack of a better term, this culture shock and settle into a routine. I'm very interested to see what the feedback is over the coming weeks, because I would anticipate that this may not be our first pushback. And I think by doing this pushback now, it's going to make the transition easier, especially if it has to go through the end of the school year. And the quicker that the parents and the students can get into that routine, I think the better. So I'm very interested to see how their feedback goes, not only their feedback, but what their pace is on staying with the curriculum goals, and to be sensitive that, you know, we've got parents involved that aren't necessarily teachers. That's going to be the challenge on how we bridge that gap. But I think that the administration is going to be well prepared with the staff to meet those challenges. Certain families may have more challenges than others, and that's going to be the interesting part that we're going to learn over the next several weeks.
Yeah, so this is Brian again. So in my update today, you'll see two different approaches to how we're going to gather that feedback. There'll be more than that. We have anecdotal feedback, but systematically, you'll read about, we have identified 42 families, K-12 across the district. Every building and grade level is identified, general education, special education, intensive supports, gifted education students. Every biome and team is represented, and we will be doing a weekly call. We're already started this week in order to identify strengths and opportunities from that representative sample of 42 families. In addition, beginning next Thursday, we will send out a 10-question Likert scale survey to families, and it will have 10 specific questions for parents to respond to, and it won't be to the teacher level, but it will be to the building and grade level or biome. And it will allow us to, the combination of the 42 open-ended calls that Mike, Kristen, and I are sharing, and the weekly Thursday Likert Scale feedback survey, we're going to be able to disaggregate the feedback and look at themes by building. We're going to be able to turn that feedback back to the building principal so that they're getting specific key themes by building, or even by grade level, and then they're going to be able to turn that back to their staff, so as they plan the subsequent week of instruction, we're making systematic improvements based on that. You also saw, obviously, in our communication about the spotlight on innovation. So one of the things that's really going to emerge, I think it's already emerging, is the excellent ideas that are happening. We will be able to lift those up faster and then therefore be able to replicate them in different ways. So all of that is already hardwired into the way we're going to go. We are ready to roll. It's just a matter of making this action, and then we're hitting send on a lot of different things.
Thanks, Greg. Mr. Kashani.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Just briefly to say, I've been on this board for 8 years, and I have never been more proud of Dr. Miller, his senior leadership team, and us as a board. It is truly remarkable what we've accomplished, and fear and uncertainty can be very paralyzing if you let it be. And I'm just so grateful for Dr. Miller's courage to lead us through this, and our courage to support him. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Ms. Misbach.
Yes, so I'd like to, I also concur with the closure until May 1st, and I'd like to also thank the leadership, Dr. Miller, the SLT, and as well as the staff for all the early preparation and planning, and really reaching out to all key stakeholders. And I'd also like to say, I'm a physical therapist by career originally, and that for our students, any individual, but any little bit of stimulation, whether it's academic, educational, physical, for any of our special needs students, as well as all of our students, makes for progress. It is so important for their continued progress. And I think, we're looking at, for our students, their future, and that doing this continuity of education for them is so important, not only for the normalcy, for the situation as it is right now, but for their future as well. Thank you.
So this is Brian again. Just to echo something you just said, Chris, and Matt mentioned, Matt Mihalik, what is happening as a byproduct of being out ahead is even though we had to work through a little bit of uncertainty with our staff beginning of last week, so about 10 days ago, the pride that our staff members are feeling, our staff members, I mean, a couple of them might be overwhelmed, but 95%, not only are they doing this and engaged, they feel a sense of pride in our district and in each other and in being ahead of the curve that is self-sustaining. So there's an energy that's growing, and our union leaders are hearing that. They're hearing feedback from their colleagues. The positive energy that comes with being ready and then being smooth in transition. So I really believe that, and you'll hear more about this in weeks and months to come, but this crisis is an opportunity for a breakthrough moment for us. So how do you go from being really good to being exceptional? And there are certain circumstances that, if handled in the right way, can really catapult us forward as a community, as a school, as a district. And I think if we continue to lead and really make the best of this circumstance, we can take gigantic steps forward as an organization to the next level of high performance. So it's exciting to hear the excitement in people. I'll share more about the feedback we're receiving in the days and weeks to come. But this is an opportunity not to make incremental improvement, but I think this is an opportunity for us to just take a huge jump forward to a totally different level of operation. So it's pretty exciting.
Thank you, Christine.
Mm-hmm.
I have little I could add that you all haven't said already more eloquently. I'll ask board members to feel free to reach out to your favorite or all senior leadership or building leadership and pass these comments along. It can be quite motivating, especially when you're not seeing the kids and the parents that you might see every day that keep you focused. So to hear this feedback could be really helpful at this time. I would also encourage the administration to keep working and keep raising the bar. The community does expect it, and you actually just raised people's expectations a whole hell of a lot. So people may, in some places, have been expecting the year to be a write-off. Our families don't. Our families don't, which is tremendous. So good job raising the bar on yourselves as well.
Okay.
Does anyone else have anything to add at this point before we call for a vote? Can we have a roll call vote, Ms. Williams?
You sure can. Mr. Kashani?
Yes.
Mr. Lyon?
Yes.
Dr. Mihalik?
Yes.
Mrs. Swope?
Yes.
Dr. Meyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Misbach?
Yes.
Dr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Moy?
Yes.
Mr. DiTullio?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. 9-0, of course. Before we move to close the meeting, I'll just ask board members, if you have any feedback about the mechanics of this, we will be using a similar approach for the Monday, what I'm calling extraordinary meetings going forward. So please let me know what worked or what didn't work for you. I want to move to recognize any visitors who may be on the line. You may press *6 to unmute yourself. There are no visitors present in the room. Seeing how there is no business, we will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good luck, everyone.
Yeah.
Good
Take
luck.
care.
Stay healthy.